I think it's shameful to prepare your unit to go to Iraq, to make a promise that you're going to follow through, and then to drop out right before you actually have to go. Well, look, I came from a family where nobody in my family had ever gone to law school. I grew up in a poor family. The fact that Tim Walz wants to turn it into a bad thing, that I actually worked myself through college, through law school, and made something myself, to me, that's the American dream. And if Tim Walz wants to insult it, I think that's frankly pretty bizarre. Well, you know what really bothers me about Tim Walz as a Marine who served his country in uniform? When the United States Marine Corps, when the United States of America asked me to go to Iraq to serve my country, I did it. I did what they asked me to do it, and I did it honorably, and I'm very proud of that service. When Tim Walz was asked by his country to go to Iraq, you know what he did? He dropped out of the Army and allowed his unit to go without him, a fact that he's been criticized for aggressively by a lot of the people that he served with. And he was making a point about gun control. He said we shouldn't allow weapons that I used in war to be on America's streets. Well, I wonder, Tim Walz, when were you ever in war? What was this weapon that you carried into war, given that you abandoned your unit right before they went to Iraq, and he has not spent a day in a combat zone?
Prior to entering politics, this guy, when he ran for governor in 2018, he'd previously served in the military. So, of course, they always lean on that. I'm such a patriot. I served in the ministry. He wants to serve in the ministry, and now he gets to. But the Minnesota National Guard leaders in 2018 then wrote a letter and paid for it to be published in the state rag so that everyone could read that this guy was a liar. He had lied about his rank. He'd quit everything that he'd signed up to. Normally, if you sign up for service, there's a certain amount of years they're supposed to get out of you so that the taxpayer's investment in training you up, sending you here and there, putting a house, giving you a house to live in, etc. and so on, while you're being trained, well then you're in the military for a certain amount of time so everyone gets their money's worth out of you, basically. This guy didn't finish a single thing, and not only that, when he found out his unit was going to be deployed to Iraq, he quit. He quit and left his whole unit hanging because he'd been given an honorary. The leaders made it very clear in their letter he never earned this position, but he did hold a rather senior rank. So he pulls the plug. His whole unit is just like, okay, we've got no leader and we're supposed to be going to Iraq. Like, this guy, if all the Trump campaign does is focus on that, this guy is a deserter. He doesn't finish what he started. He didn't serve our country with distinction. That alone is enough to get every patriot in America to just be like, this guy is the scum of the earth. Who does that? And especially given how much the Trump camp really revere their military, really look after their military. And the Biden administration already has a terrible record here. We've heard from veterans' families who have lost someone overseas. We didn't get a phone call. I was there alone receiving his body back into the country. He wasn't honoured by anyone.
Biden
I still haven't even heard from this administration.
A single troop under his presidency.
Yeah.
Right?
Meanwhile, those that he does speak to, he claims that he lost his son Beau also while he was away in deployment. Beau tragically died of cancer, but of course Biden's either unaware of that or lying. So that alone is just such a fun fact for the Trump campaign to run with and just be like, this bloke's a joke.
I mean, you compare that with JD Vance, who served with distinction in Iraq. So the debate between the two potential VPs is going to be very interesting to watch because JD Vance won't take it back.
Yeah, and Vance is a great debater too,
Yes.
so that'll be a lot of fun.